Well, good morning, everyone. And a great big hello to all of my fellow adventurers. Anyway, we got one for you today. We have an adventure for you guys today. New place, new adventure, whole new ball game, actually. This is one of my, well, down here there's an old, beautiful river spot, one of my old fishing spots down there, and I haven't camped there in a couple years, and I thought I'd come down and take a look, and it's been devastated by like half a dozen floods since. So yeah, it's pretty bad. And while I was out, I brought a few tools with me the other day. Weed eater, rake, shovel. Kind of leveled me off a little spot right there. Not 100% if I'll use that one or not. I guess it depends on my weed eater. And when I got out here the other day, came down with the weed eater, and I was going to clear me a nice spot right down here. Weed eater wouldn't start. Figures, don't it? Flooded on me. So I just got the shovel out and the rake and just kind of leveled me off a spot right over here off the trail in the sand. You know, just big enough to put a tent and get in, get set up, and then work on everything else. But my plan right now, beautiful place, isn't it? Very woodsy, very woodsy. My plan is to get the weed eater out, and assuming I can get it to start, I'm going to clean up over in here, move all the, the dead brush and weeds, and fix me a really pretty little camp spot right there. Got me a nice open spot on the other side of those trees right there for the Starlink, and that is northeast, so that's the way it needs to point. So this would be the ultimate camp spot right there in between those trees, assuming I can get the weed eater to run. If we cannot get the weed eater to run, I'll have to move over here and set up camp over here just off the trail. Now, for those of you who are curious, don't worry. I will not be harming anything that is alive. I don't want to bother the canopy in any way. I want it to stay exactly where it is, how it is, leave it alone. I don't want to mess with that. In the summer, it gives you shade, and in the winter, it has no bearing whatsoever. So, you definitely want to keep it so that in the summertime, you can camp here when it's miserable hot, and you're underneath this super thick canopy. It'll be 15-20 degrees cooler. But anyway, I guess before I can get my little adventure going, my little work project and adventure going, I guess I need to get the weed eater out and see if I can get it started. If not, I'll put the tent there, and then once I get started, the weed eater will no doubt start then the first try. That's how that stuff works. Once you commit to something else, the stupid weed eater will probably start on its own. So as soon as I get the tent up, it'll probably ready to go. All right. Anyway, guys, I've got my site selected and got everything packed, and we are ready to open for business. Well, guys, what do you think? That's some pretty suitable site prep, I do believe. I got old devil weed eater started. It finally got it going and ran the whole thing out. Whole tank non-stop. Don't trust it. Don't slow down. Don't let up. But yeah, I did good. Ran the whole tank out. Got the spot that I wanted, and check this out. Got me a nice path going up here, the road going down. Nice spot for my tent. Little spot right here for a little small campfire. Of course, a couple of these still need to go, but we'll get that later. We're not quite ready to build a fire yet. I'm, good Lord, 4 or 5 hours into this job so far. It turned out to be, it's considerably bigger than anticipated. But we're okay. We're on track, and we've made good time. Got a spot cleared out over here to go put my Starlink. Had to open that up a little bit. And got to just leveled out the sand, just a spot to put the tent and a little spot to put my, little campfire later. But I've got my, check out the path. This used to be the main trail, but you can see why it's not, why it's closed off. But got my Starlink down here. It's the only open shot that I could get. I probably should have took a little bit more off of there, but it says we're okay. But anyway, check this out. How wildernessy does that look? Now that just looks like you're really out there, don't it? Old mattress laying there. Looks like it's about to melt. Ain't much I can do with that. I can clean up a lot of stuff, but can't really do much with an embedded mattress. A lot of the junk that'll burn, I'll burn. The trash, that kind of thing. But, do what you can. Got the trail all cleaned up nice and neat. Look at that. Check that out. Take y'all down here and show you the spot real quick. Very nice little shore. This right here wouldn't be too bad either. Kind of opened it up just a little bit. Once winter gets here, when it gets cold, this will be more out in the open, get a little bit more sun. Look at that thing. Wow. Look at all the trash, other trees. Vines all tangled up on it. Look at that. That is crazy. That big limb hanging out there dead. Wow. Huh. Now, I don't have any widowmakers over mine. I've got great big trees. Whole bunch of them directly over top. All healthy. But there's some trash. Check this out. I noticed this when I came down at first. Should have brought Mr. Boney. I could have hung him from that. And that would have looked really cool tonight. So it's one of those fence things, plastic fence. I'll see if I can't rip it down. But it's wound around that tree limb up there. So I don't know if I can get the thing down or not. May have to wait for the tree limb to die. One bad spot right here, as far as, you could get an ATV down through here pretty easy. And I could probably get a UTV down here if I wanted. But I have a great spot right where I'm at. Look at this. You can see right where I went. Look at that fence piece hanging from the tree. But you can see right where I went with that weed eater. Right through there. Just old water weeds is all it is. They come up quick and they cut down real easy. Hollow. Now the little trail right here, there's a little swamp like thing over here. And I noticed there's a beaver trail. I'll show you when we get down here where they've been going in and out. I spotted that earlier too. Look at that. That all opened up. Few trees still left. Few things to move, but we probably won't get to all that today. And the ravine here. If you throw a few rocks in here and the river gets up, it'll fill itself in. Look at that. Here's the train off in the distance. Look at that. Pure West Virginia wilderness. Uncut. Well, West Virginia and Kentucky wilderness, to be fair about it. That's West Virginia, this is Kentucky. The little river is the only thing that makes the difference. One side's West Virginia, the other side's Kentucky. See right up there, that little knoll? That used to be my camp back in the day, years ago. Of course, you know, 15, 20 floods of changes the contour. But you can see where someone's had an ATV down here. But that's not what I wanted to show you. Some of my footprints too. Look at this, look at the drag marks. Can you see it going up through there? Let me back up a little bit. Can you see the drag marks? There's a hole right here. That's presumably a beaver, presumably. That little marshy swamp-like thing I was telling you about is right back in here. And I would not go back in there. That's some seriously swampy, snaky territory in there. So, you know, yes, you're just going to have to take my word for something's going in there. And it ain't Leo. Wow, look at that. Tires. Wow, they've all just kind of floated in here. I hear the train coming too. Oh my God, there's a bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 at least. 13 tires at least. Whole train headed down the line. See, this used to be sand camp right here, right by the water. But like I said, you can see it's kind of got, yeah, a little bit trashed out. Somebody's burned a tire down here. Threw some coal in there too. Very pretty spot, isn't it? Except for the trash. I mean, it is a river. Just hate to see that though, don't you? All this, you know, the sticks are one thing, but the rest of it, bottles, the cans, but we'll do what we can. I'll do what I can. Still very beautiful, isn't it? Look at this. Deer tracks all in the sand. Whole bunch of them. Whole bunch of deer. Can you imagine watching the big buck walk down through here? It'd just be really pretty, wouldn't it? But this was my winter camping spot, one of them, right there. I've camped there a couple times. I can remember making bacon and eggs. Might have been sausage and eggs. No, it was bacon. Fixed bacon and eggs right there one morning. Frost. There was a heavy frost on. I had the UTV. Wow, there's a lot of cans in there. A lot of cans. Anyway, the tires weren't there then. I had the UTV backed right up in here. Had a little, you know, you come down here and back right up into it and camp right there. Can't do much with a lot of it, but it's awful pretty like it is. And that tire swing over there. Somebody's been swinging out there on that tire. Oh, I see a path coming down right there. Another one right there. Looks like a pretty quick swimming hole though, don't it? I don't know, you got a sandy bank on this side. That'd be pretty nice. But I brought a spinner and a fly rod. Depending on how much I get done, I wouldn't mind coming down and throwing a fly or two just to see what happens. But look at that trail. Just going right up through there. You can see the drag marks. That's wild looking. And the hole, it goes right through the weeds, under that tree, and back into the swamp. Got a deeper spot right here, just above the shoals. Looks like you can just about walk across that. Yeah. Very green. Very slimy. At least it's probably pretty healthy, I guess. Green vegetation. That's where a creek, part of the creek comes down right here. Looks like you could wade right across that, doesn't it? Alright, anyway, this is the pretty little spot that I was telling you about. That, you know, we'll eventually try to recover. Try to clean it up and little spit and polish. You know how it is. But I guess that's a good thing about having a camping channel. You know, you have a good excuse to come out and do something like that, and it, you know what I mean. You get it. Good pile of them right there. I wouldn't mind having some of them back at camp. Wouldn't want to carry them. I want them to like levitate back to camp or something. I've worked enough today. Alright, let's go get back to camp and get started putting everything together. The first work part is done. Let the work begin. Right? But I will have me a really nice camp spot in a really cool place when I get done with a swamp. I have my own swamp, y'all. How about that? You can see the creek right here. It's just got weeds. Where I cut, the weeds are on top of the water. The creek is under there. Alright, let's get back to camp. Right back behind there. There it is. There's where those trees are down. You can see the Starlink and the UTV. Almost back. Almost time to go to work. Did a little bit more work with the sand, you know, just kind of leveling things out just a little bit and make me a nice little place to hang out, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm very well pleased with it. Well, it's the nice part of the day where the sun's gone down. It's all nice and shady here. And just waiting, it'll soon be dark, won't it? It won't be long now. Once the sun's completely gone, it's going to get real dark real quick. But we're at the part now where we've got the lights set up and all that good stuff, and now we're at the enjoy it part where you kick back and, well, you enjoy it. You know, got the lights all done and got the laptop in there on the little table. I'll show you. A 50-cent tour. Got the bed all set up in there. And little laptop, you know, watch a little TV, that kind of stuff. But yeah, brought the little buddy heater just in case. It's supposed to be like 50 tonight, not real cold, but we got it if we need it, right? That's the point. All right, we are ready for nighttime, I do believe. What do y'all think? I'm thinking about changing the name to Camp Overkill. I kind of like that. Heather gave me an idea. I kind of like Camp Overkill. What do y'all think? Well, it looks like I've arrived at the part of the day where you just kind of kick back and enjoy it. You know, kind of revel in all of the work you did throughout the day to get everything done and set up, and you know how it is. That's how most things are. It takes a little, excuse me, takes a little effort to get just about anything done. But it's done now, and I've got me a nice little camp up here and a nice little flat spot down there that I started on, and eventually back down by the river. But for now, I'm kind of liking this. Camp Overkill. That is its official name, by the way. I like it. Camp Overgrown should be, you know, that kind of fits too. It's a little bit appropriate as well. But it's a nice little hidden spot nestled back in the water weeds down by the river. Nobody's gonna bother you. Just kind of come down, set up a tent, have some fun, you know, have a little adventure, that kind of thing. Come winter, when it gets cold, I mean, this would be an awesome place to come down and, you know, set up when it snows, you know, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow in a tent. That would be cool. Bring diesel heater and just set up in the snowstorm and just run with it. It's actually more fun than it sounds. It sounds really bad, you know, when you say it like that. It sounds terrible, actually. But it's a lot more fun than it sounds, you know, winter camping. As long as you've got heaters and, you know, you've got all the things you need to make it a pleasant trip. But anyway, you are. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm not really that tired. Very nice night though. Train whistle way off in the distance. I got the laptop, brought it out so I can, you know, kind of hang out by the fire and watch some Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. Of course, got dinner in the cooler too, so probably, you know, get that out too. Heather made me some stew to bring with me, so here in a little while I'll, you know, get ready to eat. I'll break out the stew and get that out and heat it up on the stove and have dinner. Pretty handy. Thank you, Heather. Saved me some trouble. Which, doing all this stuff, you know, I kind of figured it would take up most of the day. That's why, you know, I brought the Duraflame logs too, you know, so you didn't have to deal with firewood after all of that. Deal with cutting up firewood for the evening. Just chop up a Duraflame log in a couple pieces and you're good to go. It's a little metal ring I got. Used to be a little metal ring sitting on a flat rock I went down to the river and got. It used to be part of it was a wood burning barbecue grill. And, you know, just like a regular barbecue grill, just, you know, used wood instead of charcoal or propane. But most of it rusted, just completely gone. That's the only piece that's left. So I sanded it down, repainted it, and I use it for Duraflame, or every now and then throw some charcoal in it and barbecue on it. And a little grill top goes on it too. But it works really well, you know. You don't have to, the Duraflame, you don't have to worry about it. It'll just sit there and burn for a couple hours at least. And you just throw another little piece on there and you're good for a couple hours at least. Really, really easy. You know, firewood, you can't do that. Firewood, you're constantly messing with it. Every, you know, 5 or 10 minutes you're having to put something back in, add something, you know, this fell out, you know how it is. But yeah, Duraflame, you just set it on fire and It just burns. Very convenient. Very handy on a night like this too. Save me some time and some trouble. It's about to get dark though, isn't it? It's about to get dark on us. You can see it coming. You can see it sneaking through the trees. Well, I've got the camp lit up as much as I can. Lanterns there. I got one on my head, one on the ground. The tent's lit up. One in the UTV and the little string of lights plus the fire. But without the headlamp, watch. That's what you see on the GoPro. Hang on. See a little bit, can't you? Yeah, you can see a little. It's like dark out. It's totally dark. But yeah, I can see really good without the extra headlight. You know, just the GoPro needs it. But yeah, doing really well. Duraflames are just cooking right along. No problems. Can't complain about anything. Look at that. Big chunks of meat in there. That'll work, won't it? That will work. Alright, let's get some heat on that. And I guess we'll go in and chill out for a while. Put on a movie or something, have dinner, and come back out, hang out by the fire, and continue on with the evening. Very nice out here tonight, guys. Very nice. Very pretty night. Very dark, but very pretty. Very, very, very dark out here. Well, this'll work. Got my soup all ready. Got it hot, a little bit too hot actually. And watching Venom, The Last Dance, the new one. And got me a bag of snacks ready to go for later. So yeah, so far so good. The little campfire's going well outside. Yeah, sounds really good. Stew's real good too, by the way. It's very good. Very good indeed. Heather, you did good, honey. Alright, let's kick back and relax, watch a little TV, and have some dinner. Well, I do believe that is just about enough of today. It's getting a little bit late, and I am getting a little bit tired. Got a busy morning to get to too, so I do believe I'm going to go ahead and say good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. See y'all in the morning. Do believe I'll sleep well tonight. Good morning. Thought I'd give y'all a little bit of that. Share some of my fire with you. It's a cool morning. Not cold, it's about 60. I just checked. About 60 degrees out. And I'll just be honest, there ain't nothing like waking up on a chilly morning in your tent and come out and get you a fire going and heat up some coffee. Yeah. That's a good morning right there now. That is a really good morning. You wake up, like I said, in your tent and just, yeah, I slept like a baby last night. I don't know if it's, well, it's partial atmosphere, I'm sure, but yeah, I'm sure all that work yesterday probably factored in just a little bit, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of shoveling and raking. About 4 or 5 hours before I started putting the tent together, and then I worked on this some more. So I probably got a good 5 hours in the whole thing. But we got a lot done. I got a whole lot opened up, the lower section. Try to hopefully maybe get a little bit more of that today before I leave. Kind of get that for the next trip, you know, go a little bit closer next time. But either way, I'll have a really good spot up here, well, till the river gets up and wrecks it again, you know, makes everything unlevel. But I had to split it. I had to make a level there and then a level over here, and then kind of a path going down. You can't really see it, it's kind of on an angle there going down. But it worked out really well. Worked out very well. Everything's nice and solid. I was kind of concerned the tent stakes might slip out, but nope, they seem to be good in that loose sand. They didn't come out or anything. Everything's staying where I put it, seems to be. Stupid GoPro, it keeps turning off on me. I put a generic battery in it and it knows it's a generic battery. You should use a GoPro. Just shut up and record the video. I don't care what you think, stupid camera. Just record the video. Quit complaining about wanting brand name batteries. What's the matter with you? Yeah, I was gonna say, you can see the road going down that way. It's road's about 60 yards that way, and the river's about 60 yards that way. So I'm pretty much right in the center, right between them. Oh, I can see a faint hint of sunlight up on top of that hill up there. Just a little bit of sunshine. And it's gone. Foggy up high. Not too bad that way. But it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be about 80 today. Not too awful hot. And to be honest, you know, yesterday when it got hot, those right there kept all the heat away. It stayed probably 10 degrees cooler under here than out in the open. So that was really nice. But anyway, I'm gonna hang out by my fire and warm up a little bit, drink some coffee, and enjoy the morning. We'll move on to work later. See you guys shortly. So what y'all think? As far as campsites go, what do you figure? I'll go at least 6 or 7 out of 10. You know, campsite fit for a king if he had been deposed and is now broke. That kind of king. Not the rich kind. I thought I'd show y'all what I'm going to do, or attempt to do. My plan. You know, summer months and winter months are totally different as far as camping goes. In the summer, you want a good canopy. You want shade. You know, you want to be out of the sun. Because tents, you know, they radiational heating in the sun, they'll warm up really quick. In the winter, you want to be out in the open, in a good spot like that, you know. So this one right down here, mid-level, this would make an awesome spot right here. I was just looking at this one just a minute ago. That's, you know, the mid-level one. You're a little bit further from the road, a little bit more concealed. You know, not that it's illegal, but, you know, you don't necessarily want every stranger that drives by to know you're camping, do you? But, yeah, I figure right here would make a great spot for a winter one. Once all those leaves are gone, still got to, you know, some other time, but we'll deal with that. If I'm setting up here, I'm sure I'll get around to it. I'll hook UTV to it and yank it down one way or another. I'll pull that whole limb out if I have to. A couple little bits of plastic in the trees. You know, not too bad though. Not too bad considering, you know, it's a riverbank and it got flooded, you know, 1 billion times over its life. I noticed right here, looks like some sort of old pressure vessel for maybe a boiler or something. Valve set up on top, pressure relief valve. If it over pressurizes, who knows? Who knows how, when, where it came from. But it wound up here. It's embedded in the ground, and it ain't going nowhere now, is it? But I got one little spot, which you can drive around it, as far as that goes, but I doubt I'll do anything with it. I can just drive around it, not that big a deal. If you wanted to. Certainly on an ATV. ATV, you could just some real shoes on and knock this out real quick, and then we'll start worrying about packing up and all that, blah 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 blah. Check that out. Just a little leaf I picked up. Looks like someone drew that on there, doesn't it? Perfectly drawn. Wild, ain't it? I guess you get fascinated by a leaf at my age. That's a good thing, though, Alright, back to work. Just look at that. That's what you want right there, isn't it? Peace and quiet. Just vines and trees and animals and birds and not much of anything else. I have to say, I think the site turned out much better than, much better than I expected. I was planning on doing just a small, just why I brought the teepee tent. But you know how it is. Overkill it is. Spent the morning working on my winter camp, which was one of the reasons I wanted to come. I brought the fishing rods. Well, I brought a fly rod and a spinner, and a few lures and a couple flies, but never really did get the chance. Been busy doing stuff, and then eating, watching TV, hanging out by the fire. But I did manage to whip up a super nice winter spot. Look at that baby doll. One little high point right there on the far end. A little more concealed, can't be seen out in the open. So, you get some sun when it's cold. Still got to deal with that, you know how it is. But I got a lot of it done, a couple little piles here and there I'll deal with later. Right now we'll get it, you know what I mean. Get all this picked up, cleaned up, all the, dead stuff, weeds, so you can actually get through, get the trail opened back up. But I think it turned out pretty decent, once it settles and everything, you know what I mean. Nice level spot by the river. You got to picture this, covered in snow. None of those weeds will be there. All of those water weeds will be completely gone. In the wintertime, the terrain will look completely different. Snow, just everything. Snow white everywhere. Even this thing, if it's still here. Let's take a look. See how I haven't been down here today. Let's just go see how it turned out. Guess I do need to do a little something with that spot. My Wi-Fi still works down here. My phone just dinged. That little Starlink is handy. Crunchy. That is really pretty though. This picture, like I said, got to picture it. Snow and ice and the river, little tent right here, rocks in an angle like so that the river will fill it in instead of washing it out. And yeah, it should look really good. You have your own little private beach. Looking like it's a good little spot to clean up, huh? Good little spot to work on. And had some fun too, you know, camping out and taking you guys along too. Very, very pretty. I love the little tire swing right across the river. Love that. Alright, we need to swap batteries. This one is just about gone, so be right back. Okay, fresh new battery in. And as everybody knows, any decent YouTuber always has a spare GoPro battery in his pocket. Usually more than one. Well, it's true, I usually do. I was just looking at some of the tracks here on the beach by the river. I mean, just look how gorgeous that is. That's my old camp right there. That was the original sand camp right there. But look at these tracks. There's all kinds of them. Deer right in through here going up. Of course, you know, mine. But look at those. And that one. What is that? Seems like it would be an interesting whatever the hell it is. And look at these. You see the long drag marks up through the sand right there? Here's one. Here's something going across. I haven't been in any of this. And here's a great big deep one that looks to be a little bit older. Right up through there. Turtles laying eggs maybe? Not really sure what it is. It went over. You can see where it went down in there. Whatever it was. Huh. Still a lot of junk down there though in there. But I guess that's true of any river. Tires. You can see where somebody's been burning a couple of them. A little deeper water here if you wanted to fish for, I don't know, I can see tires. I can see tires up through there for, it's like about 40 yards. So at least there's no deep water for that far anyway. But yeah, you could bring a kayak and go up here in the slow water and fish. And then right back down to your campsite. Interesting thought. What's that? Started to actually walk out there. I'm wearing regular shoes. It's like part of an exhaust or something. A muffler and a catalytic converter. I hear those things worth some money. Maybe I should wait out there and get it. I don't know what they're worth though. They ain't worth that much, I don't believe. But yeah, this looks like it's about, what, 2 feet? I can see the bottom all the way across. Pretty swift though. If you were to wade across, you're probably better off to do it right here. Not quite so swift as, you know, crossing right there would obviously be a bad idea. Right about here. Your best bet. Very nice though, isn't it? Very pretty. Very peaceful. Even if it does have a few tires here and there. Alright, I guess I'm going to have to head back up to camp here in a second and get started. It's getting late on me. Yeah, but I've got everything done here that I intended to do. I've got 2 nice campsites. A summer one, you know, with all kinds of really awesome shade. Near perfect, near total coverage. And a really nice winter one too. So, yeah, can't beat that. When winter gets here and the snow starts flying, I'll bring my insulated tent and hang out in the snow for a few days. Play by the river. Bring you guys along for that too. Alright, let's get back up the trail, and I'll see y'all back up at camp here in a second. Site looks so sad now, don't it? You know, when it had a tent on it, it was, you know, fun and adventure and outdoor, you know, goodness. Now it's just rock. Some pretty level sand. Now, I'm pretty well pleased with it. I had a good time. Made me 2 nice spots. Check this out. I'll show y'all something. Finished this morning. Of course, I've got that, you know, in the trail going down. There's the spot I made yesterday. And not bad. Not too shabby. But this right here is the old road. Old trail. Had my Starlink right there. But check that one out. Now that should be a really good winter spot. Yeah, we got everything all loaded up. All of camp packed up in the back of the UTV, and in the seats too. Seats are filled too. Alright guys, anyway, it's been a great little adventure. Had a ton of fun, you know, making this video and fixing little campsites for winter time, and yeah, been a great little trip. Sure has. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I really do. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and you know, the little bit of peace and serenity, you know what I mean? Anyway, when the world's all going crazy, a little calm, you know. See y'all later.